Can we make an episode that's a little sexy?
We can also, Nick, you can target some of the food talk in the last episode. If we don't need it, there can be less of it so that this one feels
It'll
a little more.
all be flow-wise. If it's like we're all screaming and yelling over it, it's going to be a tough cut
Danny,
out.
the thought that anyone is listening to more than one
That's
of these
probably
episodes.
Well, it's our hope, right? It's our hope people go all the way.
Everybody's going to love it.
All right.
High energy.
Guys, keep that friggin' energy up, all right?
We gotta have high
energy.
Up.
Keep
Watch
those zoomies up.
Urgency.
We got to do a zoomies episode.
Everybody remember to talk into the mic and don't stomp your feet.
Welcome to PuzzyBoyz, the only and therefore number one podcast for real men who love their cats. I'm Zach Broussard, and my beautiful little kitty cat is named Mochi.
I'm Danny Solomon, and my furry little ball of pee is named Marv.
I'm Nick Maritato, and my little Lily is also cute and a cat.
I'm Adam Newman, and my little geniuses are Greg and Holiday.
I don't love that you have two, but that's
Yeah.
okay. We'll
Kinda
move on.
Ruins the flow every time.
Guys, before we dig in, it's important to remember that it's PuzzyBoyz with Z's, one word for no reason in particular. Okay, let's move on.
No, I made that mistake the other day, actually. I was looking us up, and I accidentally didn't put in the Z's, and I learned a lot.
4 hours later, you're like, what am I doing?
I did notice the rundown was named PuzzyBoyz with all S's.
It is. That's the mistake I made.
I was like, is Danny doing the other podcast? We told him he should quit as soon as we started.
And there's a lot of links in here. Should I click? No.
You know what? Let's jump right into our first segment, and it's a returning segment, folks. It's called This Week in Cat. Anybody have any cool cat stories that they want to share that happened to them this week?
I'll do this really quick.
Oh,
but
you got it?
My cat peed blood for 2 days, and then
Shucks.
I know, and then stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So we kind of just think it's fine,
That
and we're
was-
gonna move on from there.
That was as much of a dip in happiness as I was willing to be here for. That
Everybody
was good.
laughed, though.
Yeah, we do record this in front of a live studio audience.
Hey, I have something to say about live studio audiences a little later in the show, but I don't want to tip my hand. So,
Okay.
we
Tip my
can move
paws.
on. But that's really good. I know you had mentioned that a couple of days ago that you found a
It was
little
just a
bit
little. We were a little freaky. I mean, she's crusted and busted.
Are you sure she
and-
didn't just drink some blood?
Well, she might be a cutter. That's the other thought. Is that
Could it have been a hemorrhoid?
honestly maybe? I like the
callback.
idea that me and my cat have hemorrhoids at the same time.
That's admitting that you have hemorrhoids.
well,
now.
you know-
How fun.
Whoa.
How fun. Like daddy, like daughter.
Did go away once I got a bidet, but that's not what this podcast is about.
But fun visual.
But with two T's.
Imagine a cat using a bidet. That's fun.
They fall in and water get all over them. It's very funny.
That is very
What
fun.
year then was Mochi born? Was that 05? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I guess if she's 18 now. Yeah, 05.
Dang, what was going on back then? I'm going to look up the greatest hits.
Britney Spears
Of
was still,
2005.
I think, shaving her head, I think, at that time.
Danny, don't look up something right
Right,
now.
right, I can't. Let's just say it was LFO, Steal My Sunshine, move on.
Beautiful. Do you have a This Week in Cat, Adam?
Yeah, I have a little. I have a small this week in cat. So Greg has found either by our back door or maybe under the dishwasher. We're not exactly sure where it's coming in, but little crickets are one at a time. Little crickets are finding their way into the apartment, and so Greg has been spending time either by the back door or by the dishwasher, which is kind of in the back of the house. And he just sits there in the dark at night now. And sometimes we'll see him he'll carry it around a little bit. Sometimes he'll bring it in the living room and bat it around a little bit. We feel a little bad for the little cricket, but also I don't want to take away the fun that Greg is having with it. And usually by, at some point it looks like he's lost track of it. We don't know what he's doing, but usually first thing the next morning when I sit at my desk, it is right under my chair. Just a demolished cricket that is a gift for me. I know he got it for me. and I appreciate that, which I have read before, that the cats do that. They leave, they'll leave like a rodent or whatever they catch, and they leave it like at your front door. They are doing that because they don't think you are capable of taking care of yourself. So they're taking care of you. It's not just a gift. It's like, here you go.
I mean, honestly,
I got you some food.
Adam, I'm not sure you are capable of taking care of yourself sometimes.
I'm not either.
And I want to deliver cricket corpses to your house many times, and I just think, all right, maybe because Deirdre's there, she'll take care of it. At least we'll know he's eating, though.
Yeah. Between Greg and Deirdre, I have plenty of cricket carcasses to go around.
I love hearing you guys just say cricket
It was a tongue twist, a surprising one I'd never anticipated.
Cricket Carcass was the name of my college hardcore
cricket
band.
Carcasses coming close to Christmas.
Ooh, very, very nice.
Zach's other podcast is Tongue Twister Tuesdays. It
that
comes
would be
out every
fun.
Tuesday. Yeah.
You have to spell that with all Z's too, or you'll also see some.
Does Greg have those sort of primal instincts where, like, doesn't matter what's coming into the house, Greg's going to take care of it?
Yeah. A housefly gets in. He's running, jumping, batting at it all day. We haven't actually seen like a mouse or a real rodent or anything, but I imagine he'd go after it.
I mean, Marv, he's also mangled some crickets. We'll find legs and things around, and I think crickets are about the maximum that he's willing to deal with, because we've had a couple flies in the house and he does jack shit. I have to grab a dish towel and whip the flies to death. And he sees me do this, and he doesn't even realize I could be helping out here.
Like you're in a locker room getting nerds.
It's actually incredibly fun.
Danny eats the flies just to show him how to do it.
I'm just trying to teach him like what I expect from him. And 20 flies later, he hasn't learned anything about what to do.
And you feel terrible.
But towel whipping these flies has become actually like a real.
That's actually kind of fun.
And I'm showing like, I mean, I feel like Natalie, my wife, has never been more attracted to me.
Oh yeah, I'm the bug killer, man. My cat doesn't do jack, and so I'm also. There's a spider. It's me. It's all me.
Oh,
I'm the cat. All of a sudden, I'm the cat.
I bring Greg right over to any bug in the house, and I say, "Do your job," and he's great at his job.
I think this dances us into the topic quite well.
Yeah.
That's right. Our topic for today is cat food. I don't know exactly what we're supposed to be talking about as far as cat food. Is it brands? How are we
I think
attacking?
we can
What are we feeding
freestyle
our
this,
cats?
guys. What are
Yeah.
you feeding your freaking
And
fur balls?
What does your cat eat on its own? You know, we're talking about eating crickets. Does Greg eat the cricket? Does
Greg
he just mangle it?
Eats the flies. He tends to mangle the crickets and give them to me.
Right. And, I think Marv, he likes to, when he's outside, he likes to hunt things. And I think he is interested. He's had a lizard in his mouth before, but he's never bitten down on the lizard. Like, he's never tried to devour the lizard. So I don't know if it's about eating it, if it's about giving it to me, if it's about just kind of showing he's got the chops still. Like, cat food can be whatever your cat eats. So I've just, we've just got a lot to talk about there. I think it's green, fertile valley.
Well, I think we all have, if we want to talk about what our cat eats during the day, I think it all varies a little bit. My cat only eats cat food. Never does she get any other sort of food. We don't give her anything off of our plate. We don't serve up anything that's from our fridge that's not a cat food thing that we bought.
I find that cruel and not fun.
Now, Adam, you're a sloppy piece of shit.
I feed any meat thing that any meat or dairy thing
Dairy.
that I think I can get
No greens.
the seasonings off of, or whatever. Like if I'm gonna get let's say it's a piece of fried chicken, I'm gonna bite into that chicken and I'm gonna pull some closer to the bone without any breading on it. And we're gonna give the
and
cat
he's not
that.
having any Szechuan peppers.
No, he's
or
not.
anything
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
not.
He
giving him
doesn't.
that
He
stuff.
doesn't get it.
Cats don't tend to like spice as much as you'd think.
How much would you
Can't take
think?
the heat.
When if there's a piece of salmon, I'm gonna cut into the salmon and go into the middle and pull out a little flake of salmon.
I am jealous of that. We don't really do it much because Moch doesn't really care, and then it's also just like a messy business.
Yeah.
But what I like about what you're doing with your cat, it feels like a cartoon owner of a cat. You'd be having a fish fillet, you'd be tossing the cartoon bones to your cat. I think that's kind of fun.
I mean, John Arbuckle just grabs a hot piping lasagna out of the oven and hands the whole thing to his cat.
And that's how I learned how to feed a cat from Garfield cartoons. I think it brings joy to both of our lives, and I everything I give to Greg, I equally give to Holiday as well. And she
I don't
seems
love
to enjoy
that.
it also.
There's like a little bit of a stepchild situation going on with Holiday.
It's pity for her,
Yeah.
and I really just want to give it to Greg.
So, Zach, you said that Mochi is not interested. Why? What would she like? She's not interested in any human food at all. She doesn't see it as a treat, or
Doesn't really see it as a treat. I think there's only been, and this is calmed down now that she's reached her later teens, but when like it's not even tuna so much as like it would have to be like the stinkiest salmon. There's like like Bonito crisps. Have you ever seen those things that they like? It's like high end, like little, like just crispy little tuna things. Every now and then that would get her. And again, that was like 8 years ago. There's no movement going on. Mochi eats purely in like I would say like not unlike someone on a very intense diet. There's just like, it is just purely utilitarian. She's going to crunch, munch. She goes and poops it out. That is it. I don't know if there's any joy going on.
If you had like a deli sandwich, like a turkey and Swiss cheese sandwich, Greg, a piece of cheese and a piece of turkey is like all he wants.
I'm really grateful because we are pretty sloppy people, like in general. Like I just like to eat, like, just have like a plate on the couch next to me. And Moch will be right next to it, and she doesn't bat an eyelash at it.
Lily, the exact fucking opposite. When we got Lily, she was kind of sheltered at my mother-in-law's home. Is that sheltered? I don't know. She rescues cats. She's got a bunch of cats down there and like a cat paradise in her backyard.
It's a cat farm. She's farming cats.
Yeah, she grows them to a nice plump, and we got her before they ate them because they do eat the cats. We're just kidding, Lisa. Hey, that's a joke. But we are. Very funny.
That's only the whole reason you've had that for all the episodes is just so your stepmom knows that we're joking. You're not your stepmom. Your mother-in-law.
Stepmom.
Your mother-in-law.
Wrong.
Who is it? Mother-in-law.
How wacky is this family?
So we were warned. Oh, Lily's a great cat. Gets along with these other cats. Gets along with the dogs even. Very chill. We knew she was cute. That's why we picked her. But she is sort of interested in food. You got to watch her around food. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. We did not know the extent. Like, my cat, as soon as you start cooking something, the nose goes. And you're like, oh, you like this. Then she starts hanging around the kitchen. And then if we eat at the table, she'll be hanging around our feet. But if we eat in front of the TV, which is like mostly what we're doing, she has no chill. Like it jumps right up on your little area, sniffs. If you leave, without a doubt, she's going to jump up on your plate and try to start eating food. The craziest thing that has ever happened as far as it's just, I find this funny. I was so stoned and I went and I bought one of those big cups, Reese's Big Cups, and it was the one with the chips in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had it.
They just dropped, and I had my big cup, and I opened it up, and I took a bite, and then I had to pee, and I didn't, you can't just jam one of those. So it's kind of like a meal, one of those big
Well,
cups.
they're very big.
I come back, it was gone. It was just gone. Ooh. And I was like, where is it? And Lily was like away. So I couldn't find it. It was fucking gone. I realized she had kicked it under the couch, and she just kept going back and like licking at it every couple of hours.
Is she all right? Did she puke?
This was 2 years ago. She was fine.
Oh, wow.
She was completely fine.
I know you're not. Obviously, everyone knows chocolate is bad for cats and dogs and stuff, but the milk chocolate that would be in Reese's is not going to do anything.
I know it's bad for
Really?
dogs,
Yeah.
but like my grandma and mom had two dogs that my grandma would just feed any chocolate to ever, and it was always fine. And that's how I knew like regular candy chocolate has nothing to do.
It's super dark
with
chocolate.
real chocolate at all.
That's the thing is like there really are very few things that will actually make the cats very sick. But it's like when you look at WebMD and it's like, you have cancer. no matter what symptoms you type in, when you type in foods, it's like, this could make your cat really sick, or it's fine. There's really no middle ground. But Natalie is always like, anytime I want to give him anything, even if it's one of the things that's already in his food, like brown rice or something, she'll make me look it up. So I've become very nervous to feed Marv any of the stuff or allow him to eat anything because I'll get a yelling.
I just think if Greg was out on his own, like he would just be going into garbage cans. Not that that's like an ideal life, but like every stray cat out there, they're just eating what they can get. And so me giving like a real deep inside piece of chicken from a freshly cooked organic chicken wing or something.
Every
like,
time you
he's
bring up the
fine.
chicken, it's deeper and more organic.
I'm
I
going
go in-
close to the bone.
I go all the way in.
I break the bone open. He licks the marrow.
Yeah, he loves marrow.
Organic marrow. Now, Mochi pre us, and I think early, maybe early Mary years, just was eating like the cheapest food possible, like just really cheap food.
Postable.
Postable.
Chef Boyardee.
I do have a thing where Mary and I do say possibilities. As
That's fun.
it's like,
What do you want for dinner?
like an
There's-
Olive Garden commercial from like
Yes.
a decade ago, and we just like, if you say possibilities, you have to go.
Was
and
that
we
an
go,
Olive Garden
possibilities.
commercial? Possibilities?
I'm pretty sure.
It
should
better have been.
But I think that Mochi had like a really cheap diet and got a lot of like the cheap snacks because she will lick plastic. If you leave a plastic bag around, and we think what it is, it's like there's something from that cheap food that is like reminiscent of that. That's like her earliest fix.
Lily chews on plastic any chance she
Holiday.
gets, and it's only
Well, it's dumb when your cat does it, but I think it's a
Yeah,
sign of
yeah.
intelligence.
It's
when my
only
cat does it.
to get our attention. So it's
Holiday is
loud. It is
obsessed
loud.
with plastic.
It's
Plastic
chewing on it.
bags, bubble wrap, any sort of like weird like the weird. Sometimes I leave records out and like a vinyl record you'd put on a record player, like the plastic case that goes on it. She's obsessed with those.
do you
That's
ever
weird.
find like part of a plastic bag in her poo?
No, I haven't. I have pulled a full plastic bag out of a dog's ass that it ate,
I
but
remember that
I have
tale.
not. But I have pulled Pudge, my cat, growing up. We did pull dental floss out of his ass and just had to like keep pulling
Mary's
out.
childhood cat ate tinsel at Christmas.
Yeah.
And they her dad apparently pulled tinsel fully
I've read
out.
so
Very
many
funny.
things about how dangerous it is to pull that stuff out, but I also, every pet owner I've ever met has pulled something
It
out of
also
their
just seems
cat's
so funny
ass.
to hold it at one end of their mouth and one end of their butt and just sort of go back and forth.
Yeah.
Seems very fun.
It is very funny.
I mean, there is a lot of your cat's past that you don't know, and so I think that's part of the mystery of why it does the things that it does. Like Marv eats plants, and I cannot bring flowers home anymore because he will become obsessed with trying to eat them.
Sorry, honey. Marv will eat the flowers.
Maybe he's gay.
I think he's just romantic.
But I like the idea you come home and you be like, I wanted to bring you flowers today.
I want to
I'm
bring her
sorry
flowers.
I said gay people like flowers, by the way. I didn't mean to.
What'd you say?
I said gay people like flowers is the joke.
Marv does not allow me to bring home either flowers or chocolates, so I really can't do anything.
And
for my
all
wife.
Danny
Yeah.
wants to do is bring the
All
cat
I
home
wanna do-
flowers and chocolate.
and he
Marv
hates it when
just
I-
wants me to bring home other women? What?
He gets mad when I give her back massages. Yeah, it's tough, but we got to do what the cat wants.
Mochi doesn't really get any snacks these days either. You feeding these cats snacks?
That's funny you say that because I'm thinking when my cat is 18, I'm just gonna whatever the fuck he want. He can get. I'm gonna just bring him home sardines
we
or
only
whatever.
did greenies when there was like real hairball problems.
Yeah.
Like we were like, all right, I guess we get hairball snacks. But at this point, she's vomiting no matter what. It's
Oh,
just
man.
like no greenie is gonna save this situation.
She's in a tough sitch. I mean, is there another
Yeah,
brand
she's in
of?
hospice. She's like, we're taking care of a grandma. It's very sweet.
And
you
it's
know?
it is sweet. You're getting. You're
I
making
can't
sure.
believe she's still eating hard food like kibble.
Yeah,
that
she-
blows my mind.
she's
'Cause,
holding
like,
on.
I eat granola in the morning and it's so painful. And I just like you catch one just weird nut in a weird
Yeah.
way, and you're like,
Dude, I'll tell you, when I'm catching a weird nut, it's not good.
You talk about bad, like shitty quality food. That cat Pudge I had from the time I was 10 through the end of living at my parents' house and died when I was 30. That cat lived to be 20 years. My dad did give him like a variety of foods, but it was straight up Friskies the whole 20 years. I mean, it was
Friskies
cheap.
was the plastic inducing.
Yeah.
Like Friskies is what made Mochi like.
I've given it to Greg once, and it was like, I mean,
like-
he inhaled it. Like, it
Well,
was
it's like
candy.
Taco Bell for cats. It's
That's-
like,
Okay.
it's totally delicious.
Wait,
it's
hold
cheap.
on now. Danny, do you have something to say?
No, I'm just very interested in like the comparison. I didn't know. I never buy Marv Friskies. He's a Shiba boy, but I
That's
didn't know
basically
that.
Friskies, man.
Is it all the same? I mean, this is a great example of why this makes sense.
Can you get it at a Target?
You can get a lot of different things.
Can
at a
you get
Target.
your food at Target?
Well, you can get Blue Buffalo at Target.
Can you get your
yes,
food?
Nick, yes.
Well, then
I can
guess
get-
what, you motherfucker? That's Friskies. You're cheaping out your fucking cat.
I'm paying out the ass for my cat food.
Greg
P.S.
and Holiday both eat, and it's because Greg needs it, but the vet told me it was okay to give to both of them. Because my cats eat mostly dry food, and Greg had a bladder thing. He is on Hill's prescription urinary care.
That's right. If you gotta not know the brand to know that it's the correct brand to feed a cat. You don't just if you're recognizing the brand, it's just like it's
Yeah.
McDonald's, man.
It's like, who's Hill's?
I also want to say that Friskies is clearly what every cat wants.
Yeah, it's like if you
It's
could have
a-
McDonald's every meal,
We would be
you
happy.
want it, yeah.
I like it is basically the way like a college kid would eat, which is like I just ate Taco Bell and I ate Burger King like I just
Yep.
rotated it, and that's what cats want to eat.
Yeah,
but
cats-
we have to be like they're only as smart as a 2-year-old. We've covered that. And so we have to make decisions for our hairy little toddlers. They cannot eat Taco Bell every day.
Cats don't want to eat a food with a fucking picture of a vet on it. They want to eat
Really?
the good shit. They want to eat something with a cat on it
Well,
because they and the
Like
cat
a beautiful Maine
both know.
Coon just like going, oh.
Yeah.
Greg is playing the slot machines every fucking day, trying to get his arm up in that thing so he can get more out. And I have left the closet open by mistake, and he's jumped up and ripped that bag of science-y fucking prescription food open.
I think Greg needs to go to fat camp.
Hey, do you guys?
Like a
the vet
heavyweights
called him-
for cats. We're ready for
The
it?
vet did call him a beefy boy, and I was like, all right, he is my baby. But do you guys? This is along the food lines. I have a meltdown every time I'm looking or deciding with treats and food. Whenever it's like a decision between like ocean whatever and chicken or what, I'm like, what is he want? I wish I could ask what they prefer. They seem to like both of them, and sometimes like the salmon flavor is like $1 more, and I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know what's really in it.
Harder
but,
to farm, I think.
Maybe
Marv,
It
I-
might go bad faster too.
Yeah.
There's something about the fishy stuff.
that's
but
true.
that might make it more interesting to the cats. I think Marv actually, I thought he would just eat anything, but not only does he not ever want chicken or turkey or poultry like in cat food form, but he doesn't even like specific types of the seafood, like seafood medley or, tuna entree or whatever. Doesn't eat those.
Wow.
Salmon and ocean whitefish. Those are the only two he likes. And he demands that I switch it up. So I can't just do all salmon all week.
What would happen if you didn't switch it up, or he just got chicken for like 6 days in a
He
row?
won't eat it. And then he'll start meowing at me until I get him the right food.
This cat was outdoors
I
for
know.
so long.
I know.
How long do you wait though? Like sometimes my cat's pissed off about like what we've given her to eat, and we're just like, "That's what you're gonna eat," and you just like leave the room for like 19 seconds, and then you look and you hear,
Yeah, I thought that would work. I'm talking hours.
Can you do that again? I don't know if we got it.
Put
Yeah,
that
I
on the
think we got it.
soundboard.
Yeah, I know. That was a good one.
He will. It's.
"Hey, listen, welcome to PuzzyBoyz."
We're talking food.
Welcome to PuzzyBoyz with S's.
We're talking nibbling on ocean whitefish.
And we're gonna put it right up, y'all. So, all right, but like, how long are you actually waiting?
Hours, dude, hours. And not only will he not just allow me to go into the other room and ignore him, he will protest. And his form of protesting is getting on the counters, jumping on, the headboard, like anywhere where he can be noticed, and then he starts meowing at you as loud as he can. Long, annoying meows that sound like full sentences.
He's holding a gun.
He's got a gun. He's staring at me. He's staring at my wife.
Hold on.
My wife.
Wait, hold on. Is Marv a fucking nightmare?
He's not a nightmare. He's a wonderful cat half the day, and then the other half he's a little piece of shit. And that's every cat, right?
Marv Knights.
Marv has a lot of different moods. He likes to be catered to. He's clearly
He's your cat. That's a very Danny cat.
I think we all have similarities to our cats. Let's just face it.
Yeah, I feel like I have a very utilitarian view of food most of the time.
Sure.
And
you piss blood a lot.
I do piss blood up, but it's gone away, so I don't think about it.
That's good. That is good. So what about the amount of food during the day that you're giving on a normal day? I mean, is it just normal portions? I'm looking at you, Adam.
Adam
know,
is
I
definitely
know.
going to say
So-
something
So
outrageous.
he has what comes out of his feeder is what he's supposed to eat according to the directions for both
And
cats.
then what happens,
They
Adam?
each get their regular amount of food, and then they will get a couple of nibbles of the fun food during the day. They're nibbles. They're not meals. And then throughout the day, the bulk of them at night, but
the
sometimes
pocket snacks, Adam.
they probably get about 15 greenies each.
Wow.
No,
that's a lot.
Greg gets about 15 greenies, and Holiday probably gets 7
Total
or 8
or
greenies.
in one sitting?
Total
Now,
a
what
day.
this strikes me as, there was a moment where I was just eating Kind bars over and over again.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were healthy. And
Yeah.
basically what happened is I noticed I was starting to get like a gut. And I also was having a tough time in the bathroom. And basically I
Kind
was just
bars-
eating like a million nuts.
I
Yeah.
keep shitting on my gut.
And that I think you reverse the benefits of the greenies if you have 15 a day.
I'm trying to remember how many it says on the pack. I want to say it says like give them like 6.
Right.
I'll say this. My cat gets maybe 5 little treats a week, maybe even less than.
That might be a little miserly, honestly. I think 5 a day might be the happy medium here.
I think Greg is enjoying his life more than your cats.
Well, it's not all about enjoyment.
I
Sometimes
haven't given Moch a snack in maybe 6 months. So
you
I
guys
think
are
it's
sick.
like
That's
We give her food. She honestly, like, she's not like a skinny cat. So it's like the idea that we'd give her more food than she's eating. She eats wet food always. So she's always full of water. She's always getting enough food. She gets 2 tiny cans a day. That's like about 12 hours apart. And honestly, when I think of it, I'm like, okay, you can have a little bit of a treat. And that's like maybe once a week that we're giving her some treats. And guess what? Lily's working for them. We put them in a little treat ball that she has to knock around to get the treats out.
I like that.
So there you go. I mean, because I actually like to have those treats in ways where I'm like, I'll give you the treats. Let us clip your nails. I'll give you the treats. Come out of that tree and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm using treats as a reward system rather than
I make Marv
food.
do a full 8-hour shift at McDonald's before he gets.
And you'd probably let him eat that McDonald's too with that Sheba bullshit you're fucking feeding him.
I actually was wrong. He switched to Fancy Feast, and so there you go, Fancy.
Oh, that's horrible.
But I actually the treats that I know Lily likes. Marv also has gotten into the cat sushi. Have we talked about cat sushi?
You gave me a few of those. Both of my cats love those.
People need to know about cat sushi. It's in a little Go-Gurt kind of a squirt.
Yeah.
A little squirty.
I'm curious how you
plastic.
feed it to them.
Well, I just put it in his dish, but you can. Actually, what they show is that you can just kind of squeeze it out and let him kind of lick on
That's
it.
what I do.
I felt like it was a little too sexual.
No, it's not. It's not
Depends where
sexual.
you hold it, Danny.
If you hold it
I
near
hold
your
it in
penis,
my zipper. Is that weird?
I don't want to touch any of it. It grosses me out. So I
looks
put
a
it
little
in.
slimy.
Actually, speaking of treats, what I was doing is on Saturdays, for her evening food, I would give her dry food because she loves dry food so much. We do a little dry food, and then I squeeze some of that on top as like a little a la mode.
That's your
She
sauce.
loves it.
That's
She
your
eats it like
au
an
jus.
8-second.
Quick question: do you think that? Because I try to see things this way. Like, do you think that the pellets are dessert, or is the wet food dessert to a cat?
I think it's dependent on
I
what
think
you're
the wet
giving them.
food is a side.
Uh-huh.
Or it's a wet food's a gravy.
I thought the,
mean,
I
first
thought the
of
wet
all,
food is the main.
I think dry food's the main and the wet food's the gravy. First of all, it's like you're putting like an au jus on a steak. They're not as different as they're not unlike us. We know, they know. It's just sauce.
So wait, you're
wet
mixing
food's more than sauce.
Wet
Wet
food
food's
is
like a
substantial.
stew.
Yeah, at least. I mean, Marv's is pate style, so it's very thick.
So it's like putting like a chili over like
Yeah,
some sort
like
of
a lot of
meat.
the frisky stuff almost feels like shredded. It's like if you were like made shredded beef or pulled pork in a slow cooker or something like that.
Wait, so do you put the wet food on top of the dry food? I mean,
Well, I don't do
that's what
wet
this
food,
sounds
but I
like.
do the pate. I mean, I do the sushi tubes.
I was thinking the sushi tube is like a sauce in
I
my
see.
mind.
I get because I got the 2 cats. I got the sushi tubes like Go-Gurts cut at the top, and I got one in each hand with a cat on each side, and we're just rolling up the tubes.
This sounds sexual.
There's
I mean, am I
nothing
wrong?
sexual about
Just like
Nothing sexual
both
about it.
sides.
You ever
I
cut-
love how much joy you get out of feeding your cat.
Giving
it's
an
very
animal a treat is the most joyful thing in the world. Ever since I was a kid, I mean, I had pets when I was a kid, but like it's like going to the petting zoo and you get the foods that
You
you're
get
giving.
you get a big handful of corn,
and then
feed.
you know that alpaca likes you.
I
all right, little pivot. Y'all ever eat cat food?
I really do want to know this.
No, I have not.
That's a no from
That's a
Nick.
no. It grosses me out so much. The wet food.
Not
is
even as a
disgusting.
kid, you never tried a
No,
little
we
kibble.
didn't. We didn't
Never
have
tried a little
cats
kibble?
growing
you
up.
know what grossed me out as a kid? Do you guys
I ate
remember?
a dog biscuit a few times in my life.
That's
Same.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It immediately makes your mouth dry. It's not good.
There was. Do you remember the movie Little Monsters?
Yes.
Oh, I love
With
Little
Fred Savage and
Mm-hmm.
Howie Mandel and everything. So I think the monster that Howie Mandel plays to the school bully, I think he went into his house and went like to his school lunch, switched out his tuna fish sandwich with like cat food, and then the kid ate it at school.
He also
And
switched his thermos with pee.
Yeah, he took his apple juice and pissed in it instead. And the kid eats it at lunch. I think he takes a bite of it, spits it out, and then drinks it and goes like, tastes like piss. It is really, really great when you're a kid. But when he took a bite of that sandwich, I knew it was cat food. That made my stuff. I felt so grossed out when I saw that. Yeah, cat food grosses me out.
But it does have many of the same elements as
It's
things that
exactly
we
what
eat.
you need, you know? It's
It's
got what the body
probably-
craves.
Yeah.
Truly disgusting. If any of it ever gets on my hand, I'm like, yucky, yucky.
I agree with that. But what if it came down to it? Like, what if you had no other food in the house? You're stuck. Maybe there's like, radiation outside or something.
I'd eat the cat
yeah.
before the cat food.
Easy choice.
That's funny with the dog biscuits. My dad told me when I was a kid, they would give me like a dog biscuit as a joke. Like, Adam, you want a cookie? And I'd take a bite and they'd all laugh. And I've talked in therapy about a lot of these things, but I have some issues with my parents playing mean pranks on me when I was a kid.
And really great ones, it sounds like.
And then but I don't remember that. But then a few years ago, for one of those like talking head Animal Planet shows, for like I did a thing on dogs. Sorry, and they had
World's
us
sexiest dog.
they had us try this like dog ice cream thing, and it was basically just like a peanut butter flavored freeze dried ice cream thing for dogs, and it basically tasted like that, like astronaut ice cream you would have, like the freeze dried stuff. It tasted like that, but you could have a little bit of peanut butter flavor, but there was no sweetener or anything, so it just tasted like a very unsweetened, stale kind of peanut butter flavor.
And it was
So-
Animal Planet. That was probably your payment, right?
Yeah, probably. Oh my! Oh, yeah. I'll tell you straight up. There was. It wasn't even like $100. It was no payment. We did that for free.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. And there's much more. I think Nikki Glazer's on it. Like bigger comedians were on
Such
it.
a great business to get into.
Maybe we got $100. We might have gotten $100.
So I did this bit for a while in New York, and I don't know if anybody remembers it, but there was a kid that I used to hang out with in school. I was pretty low on the totem pole socially. This guy was maybe a little lower, and I would just kind of go over to his house. He lived with his grandma, who was completely senile, and so he basically was in charge of feeding himself. And I went over to his house. I started getting hungry. I asked him if there was anything in the house, and he said, yeah. And then he goes into the cupboard and pulls out a can of Alpo, which is, and like the wet, like the stew looking stuff, opens it up, puts it in a bowl, puts the bowl in the microwave, heats it for a minute, brings it out and plops it on the table in front of us with a little piece of white bread inside the bowl with it, as though it was, for dipping. And that was his, I didn't eat it, but it did seem like it was
Did
pretty
he eat
normal.
it?
I think that's what he ate.
That is, I can listen to you tell that story once a month till I die. That is the
based on
greatest
this podcast,
depiction.
you might.
That's the kid that spent $200,000 on cosmetic surgery to look like a golden retriever or whatever that fucking.
He seemed to have it rough. I suggested that we just go to Burger King, which was just down the street.
And
And
what year
basically the
did he
same.
die?
Oh, I don't know. He could very well still be
okay.
alive. I mean, who knows if Alpo is good for you or not?
I just assumed a guy like that dies pretty early.
Check the show notes. We'll put that in there.
I mean, there's like, you know, in some cat food actually too, there's like little pieces of like peas or tomatoes or things like that that they throw in there, and like, why? But I think it's just to kind of catch that small sliver of human beings who will eat the stuff if you just advertise it right.
It's not nothing to do with nutrients.
It's a
for the
little
animal.
cheaper than what a Dinty Moore stew would be.
My God.
Oh, this is fucking disgusting. Hey, is that a marshmallow? Oh, well, let me eat this right now.
Eat your vegetables. Don't pick the peas out of your fucking whatever.
Dog
For
food.
those of you who do wet food, does your cat have a preference of the cut?
I was pate only, and I have to, so it comes out in like the shape of the pack.
It does.
So then he will not eat it if I don't break it up and
You do have to
and
break
then
it up.
put it
You
in
have
the
to.
mouth.
It's an
Yeah.
unnatural formation.
I didn't know that you, when I was like a pet visitor and really a dog walker, but this is a cat podcast, and I would feed cats every once in a while. I did not know that you had to break that shit up. And so I would just leave like a plop. And I got a note once like, hey man, you mind breaking that shit up so my cat can actually eat it? And I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Now Lily she does not like pate. Doesn't matter if it's smushed or anything. She goes by it, then she looks at me and she's like, brother, what is happening right now? And I'm like, this is it. And I walk away, and then she eventually eats it. But she likes sliced and minced. She likes the little like pellet-y wet stuff. And
She wants to. I mean, it makes sense. A big thing the way they eat is they lick, and their little
Yes.
hard tongue catches it.
There
Right.
is more gravy in those. Like there is a little bit more liquid going on in those. So I think maybe
Yeah.
it's more appetizing.
When I buy those for Marv, he will like be interested in it, but all he'll do is just lick all of the gravy off of the pieces until it's bone dry. And so you'll just see these like little shriveled dry pieces in
That's
the
actually really annoying.
I
Does that
know,
annoy
I
you?
know. And then they actually sell these little packets of just broth. And for a while I was giving him that. And
Yeah,
he's
when
kind of-
I had to go over and visit Marv,
Yeah.
and then I just was like, "Yeah, Marv, this is his food. So put this here, and here's the dry food." And he cleared his throat in the note. He's like, "And also, there's a broth that if he's really being a good boy, you give him the broth too
Only if he's being a
afterwards."
good boy, though.
And
Anytime
like,
that
I'll
I'm
give him
getting
the fucking broth.
anytime I get made fun of on this podcast, it's for loving my cat too much.
No,
That's
I
really
wanna-
the
if there's
whole
any
running
place-
gag.
Danny and Adam are incredible cat dads, and it's awesome. And I had a moment during Danny's story where I was just like, do I belong on this podcast? Because I just kind of don't do any of this stuff. But I do
can't
think I like
believe-
that we're showing the range of
That's
Cat
absolutely-
Daddy.
yes.
I hope that's okay.
In every
I
way.
do love my cat. I just treat it the way I would treat any other human, which is I don't really give a shit.
I do have a question for you guys are welcome to answer if you know anything about it, but for my one fellow Jew on the podcast, how close do you think gefilte fish is to cat food?
I bought this gefilte fish at the John's, which is sort of like it's actually pretty good for like Slavic ethnic foods. So I was pretty stoked about this gefilte fish I got. This was a year ago. That jar is still in the house. I ate one of them. It was the most it tasted like an aquarium.
Yeah.
It was the most disgusting gefilte fish, and I've gotten used to the taste of gefilte fish. Normal people are disgusted by
I
it,
grew
and
up
rightly so.
liking it.
Right.
Spread it on some matzah with some horseradish, and I was like, I got used to it. But also, the whole joke was, it kind of tastes like cat
It's
food.
basically cat food. This one especially tastes like cat food, and so I'm thinking maybe next Hanukkah rolls around, I'm going to give it to Marv as a little treat.
Yeah, I would
Wow, I like
absolutely try to give it to
You
Marv.
ever think about doing some journalism and seeing if they're kind of packaging from the same manufacturer?
That could be a really great way to spend the rest of your lives. Before you guys reminded me, there is one time a year that Ashley and I give Lily human food, and that is Thanksgiving. We make her a little turkey plate, and then we give her a little side, and she only really wants the turkey. And that is the only time I have ever smelt my cat fart. Like, just stinky farts. So, I mean, there you go.
That's so funny. We used to do my parents when I was growing up the giblet bag. They they'd give the cat the liver and all that stuff, and the cat loved it. And I tried to do that for Greg last year, and he wasn't interested in it. And Greg loves everything. It's the first thing, like actual fresh turkey gizzards, he was not into, and Holiday wasn't either, and the fucking dog wasn't into. I don't know. Oh, dude, you want to know a weird thing? So I do give my cat like little weird food every now and again, and Deirdre
Skittles.
I don't know that. But like Deirdre had like a cold or something a while ago, and she just was like craving just like shitty chicken noodle soup, and so I got just like the one we all grew up on, just the Campbell's chicken noodle condensed soup. Those pieces of chicken. The cat would not. Neither cat or Griffin would not eat. There's something with that chicken.
It's probably cat.
It's probably cat.
There you go.
Well, we did say on one of these pods that we've probably eaten cat at some point now.
I think we have in Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Interesting.
You're on notice, Campbell's.
Let's move on. This was a great. I didn't think that the cat food would take us anywhere, and
We
it
had a
really
lot of
did.
fun.
We had a lot of fun, but I think it's time now that we move on to our first segment.
This is a segment called Is It Toxic? So there's a lot of back and forth. People don't really know the truth about some of these foods. I looked it up on the first website that popped up on Google. So let's see if you guys can guess. Are the following foods safe or toxic to cats? I'll start with eggs.
Safe.
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 Correct. They are
Nice.
safe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cheese.
Well,
Let's hope it's safe for Greg and Holiday.
I think cats are lactose intolerant, but I have given my cat cheese, ice cream, milk, yogurt, just little licks. I don't give them like a whole fucking chunk of it. So I think it's safe in small amounts, but I
wanna
imagine
be Adam's cat. I just had a vision.
You would love
I would
it.
love to
Like-
just be dressed like a furry and just eating ice cream.
if you want to do that, you want to spend it, you want to have a little special day as one of my cats.
If you want to
I'll treat
live
you
that
like it.
fucking real sex nightmare,
Yeah, you can do it. No one will fuck you. No one will do anything sexual to you.
Oh well, then I don't want to do it.
real
All right.
sex they never fucked, and that was the problem.
I know.
I
It's
think
so
I
annoying.
grossly misunderstood what you were doing with Greg.
I'm gonna say not toxic cheese.
Cheese is safe. However, it can give them diarrhea, but that's okay.
Okay.
Every cat can have diarrhea from time to
There's
time.
a lot of
There's
diarrhea
just like
in
us.
my house.
Coconut.
Ooh.
Safe.
I don't think my cat would even be interested in it.
I'm gonna say not safe because something that I do know is that I don't know why this has anything to do with it, but like there are some essential oils that you're not allowed to. You're only a few you should burn, like frankincense and like something. So I know that there's some stuff going on when it comes to like plants and this and that. So I'm gonna say not safe.
I'm going to say that I know that it is safe to use coconut oil when you're cook, because we've had a dog with some stomach things and they're like, just cook him chicken in coconut oil and rice, and that's cool. So I'm going to say dogs and cats have a lot of similarities, but not all. So I'm just, for the sake of guessing against you, I guess, I'm going to say safe with coconut.
Zach?
Safe. I said safe right away. I don't really care.
Coconut is not safe.
Oh,
not
no.
safe for cats, can cause serious digestive issues, and is too high in potassium to be
Wow.
safe for pets.
Makes
You
too
should stop
athletic.
feeding Greg almond joys.
Yeah, I should. But if we did this test for people and it said like Taco Bell, would that say safe or
That's
not
not
safe
safe.
for us?
That's not
Because it
safe.
would do those same things to us.
I do the first website he found, or he's not doing a lot of research.
I want to
That's
know,
true.
is this going to kill my cat instantly?
Well, I will ask you if you think coffee would kill your cat.
I don't think caffeine is good for them.
I'm gonna say not safe.
I'm going to say not
Dan.
safe.
That was maybe too much of a layup,
safe.
but it is not safe. It is
Zach,
not safe.
Zach drinks coffee at 9 p.m. at night, so
I
gotta
texted Nick last week because we talk about how I drink too much coffee, and
He drinks too much coffee.
It was like 8 p.m. and I was like, I'm drinking a cold brew, dude.
just because
nuts.
I knew it was not good that you were doing that because like just because you had that like caffeine at night. Like fucking, I'm texting a guy right now.
I gotta text somebody, and I think I sent you the little devil emoji.
Yeah, and then I asked you how it went. You said
It went really bad. But I couldn't sleep.
gotta cut it off.
Yeah, of course. you
Okay,
can't
all
sleep.
right.
I
A few
drink
more.
a little coffee before we do this podcast, but I make sure it's way
Right.
before
Yeah.
I start.
I
I
take
did a
half
little
an
sip,
Adderall.
too.
There you
That
go.
also keeps the energy up.
What
Right-
about decaf? Did you look into that?
You know what? I didn't. So
I think
you
it
might have
might
caught
be the
me in-
caffeine.
It might be. Could be. But the website didn't say. How about raisins?
Not
Ooh.
safe.
Grapes are not safe. I know that. So let's go with
Right.
raisins are
Safe.
not safe.
Not safe.
Yeah.
Not safe.
Grapes and raisins. They're
yes.
like the same or
That's
whatever.
why I said it.
How about avocados?
Safe.
I think that's safe.
They safe.
I'll
Yeah.
say safe.
Nope.
What?
Avocados are not safe.
What happens?
What are these
I-
street
they
cats?
just-
These street
they
cats
lose
are
their
eating
minds.
avocado.
My
in,
cat.
in LA, yeah.
My cat always adds guac.
Well, that's why it's not safe. It drains their bank account. $3.25 for a side of guac. All right, let's do. Thank you.
How much in cat dollars? I don't know.
Peanut butter. That'll be the last one. Once we wait for Adam's joke to land.
It's not landing. It's going back.
Peanut butter.
I'm gonna say safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go safe.
I
It's
think
so safe for a dog.
My
so-
cat's not going to give a shit about peanut butter, but I'll go safe. Your cat was looking at Reese's.
That's right.
It's safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that
She's
feels
around.
nice. That feels
So
nice.
I'm trying to think if I learned anything. Do I remember anything that's not safe?
I mean, coconut was
Coconut,
interesting.
that's
coconut
good.
is
Yeah.
coconut,
and
avocado.
are both-
Avocado, that's pretty
avocado's
nuts.
interesting.
Yeah.
Coconut, avocado, and coffee.
Since I just have the list here, garlic, not safe.
Right.
Wheat bread, safe. Alcohol, not safe.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so that is a shame.
In a mango cart?
no,
citrus
no
fruits.
Cabo trip for Mochi.
Citrus fruits, not safe.
Cigarettes?
Cigarettes, safe. Cigarettes,
Atomic
safe.
fireballs.
Also, just a disclaimer, if you suspect that your cat has eaten a food item from our toxic list, call your veterinarian at the ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center at 888-426-4435.
I love that you're making sure we're doing some informative stuff. I think that really helps.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Helps
Pina
the pod. Why
colada
not?
with raisins would be a triple whammy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want now, if you're looking to kill a cat, and I'm not asking any questions.
Zach, you have a game that you want to play or
You
a
know,
segment?
It's not so much a game. It's just like a talking point. That this is something that I've been thinking about a lot.
We got to stop saying Zach's things are games. They're
I
clearly
have-
not.
I don't play games. First of all, and you guys heard of Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
you've heard of it, and are you familiar with it? There's a lot of fat cats on Instagram, and there's a recurring theme. Basically, it is essentially we're mapping our diet struggles onto these cats. There's all of these like cat journeys where this giant cat is trying to lose weight, and I want to say cats don't know what they're doing. It is like a human that thinks this cat is fat and is making this cat walk in an underwater treadmill like for 4 hours a day.
Go on
like
keto.
it's all weird, and I just think it's a silly thing to map onto cats. I mean, obviously, you just don't feed cats so much food.
Yeah.
That's a human thing.
Adam.
If I
Your
if
cats are
Greg
fine. I don't know what's going on.
gets to a dangerous a place where you know what, Greg's like a very Chris Farley kind of dude. Like he's very physical and athletic and can move his body well.
Likes heroin and hookers.
It won't live
He likes
as long as he
catnip and
should.
His
hitting
career was
Holiday.
going down before he died.
But essentially, the thing that I've been sort of fixated on, I just find it unhealthy, and we are in a situation which I think is great, where there's a lot of body positivity going around, where we basically are like, real women have curves, real men have curves. Didn't mean to look at you, Nick. I
What the
apologize.
fuck was that about?
also, Adam doesn't have any curves.
I
He's
don't
a
have
straight
any
line.
I also say they cannot have any curves at all. But I think that I would like to encourage the just fat, disgusting cats on Instagram to just have a little body positivity. So I wanted to read them some quotes from celebrities, encouraging them about their weight, just basically about body positivity. What do you guys think about
That
that?
sounds good to
I
me.
like
So
it.
this is all right. I'm going to start off. Being a size 0 is a career in itself. It's not realistic and it's not healthy. Who do you think said that?
Because I saw on your phone who it was, I'm going to pass.
Rihanna. Rihanna. You are imperfect and
Is that good?
inevitably
Yes.
flawed, and you are beautiful. That's some lady named Amy Bloom, but I like that. And you are beautiful to the fat cats of Instagram.
That's nice.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Girls see enough of this body we can't imitate that we'll never be able to obtain. These unrealistic expectations. It's better to look healthy and strong.
Nice.
That was Jennifer Lawrence, which I don't think is a great spokesman. She's
just
incredibly
crazy hot, yeah.
She's crazy hot. I don't know if that's a great one.
Now, are these quotes? Who do you want to be the listener? Do you want it to be the cat or the cat
I think it's
owner?
the fat cat. I want the fat cat
Okay.
to know that it's
So
okay.
we don't have to keep listening, right? We can do
Yeah, you
that.
guys-
I
can tune out.
personally, I just don't think Greg gives a shit what he looks like.
I don't look like I did 30 years ago. Get over it.
Claudia Schiffer.
Philip
Kath-
Seymour Hoffman.
Kathleen Turner.
Oh.
That's, I mean, amen. She does not look anywhere near.
You're right. I'm overweight. And if I wanted to, I could lose the weight.
Lizzo.
Roseanne.
Orson Welles.
Oh.
You know?
And
Well,
he
something for
did
the-
by dying.
I don't mind that I'm fat. You still get the same money.
Huh.
Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Wow.
So honestly, this is I don't have this comedic turn. You know, sometimes you have these moments in bits where you're like, that was a funny bit, or it ends. But basically, the general idea is I think it's funny that a lot of celebrities are fat, and I think that's cool.
I was waiting for where this was going.
I think
and
this-
it wasn't going anywhere.
I think the soundboard needs to weigh in on that.
Sure. So, listen. No, I think we're all getting kind of a little tired, a little punched up here. And I don't want to end the podcast before we actually get onto some serious ground, okay? And we kind of all talked about this. We talked about this a little bit. We're going to use tonight's Cat of the Week segment to do a little more good than we normally do, okay? Yeah, it's great. Let's highlight all these great cats. There's millions of them. We'll get to them next week. But we are going to introduce a brand new segment called Purrblic Enemy. Purrblic. Thank you.
Purrblic Enemy.
Enemy of the week. Number 1. Purrblic Enemy.
All right, we'll take it from the top.
Here we go. What is it? Purrblic Enemy of the week?
Purrblic Enemy number
2,
one seems
Purrblic
to-
Enemy number 1.
Number one.
Okay, Purrblic Enemy number 1.
It's
is the
hard
name
when
of
you start putting in too many bits within the word. You do lose sense
We
of
lose it.
what it was.
And I was kind of tasked with the task of coming up with our first Purrblic Enemy. And I kind of, I'll be hard pressed to find out that there'd be a bigger one. And I wrote a little something, and then we can kind of talk about it, and maybe that's how we dismount. But when I was thinking of who our first Purrblic Enemy should be, I tried to think of who on earth could fill this position. Little did I know I had to look to the stars. Alf. AKA alien life form, or more fitting asshole licking fuckface, has been lunching on little kitties since the late 1980s, glorifying cat hate for kids and adults alike. Sure, it was a novel idea to have a puppet sitcom normalizing cat hate every Monday night on NBC, but what the general public might not be aware of is the evil that lies beneath this mangy Muppet ripoff. Okay, and I want to break away from my script here to say there's a lot of things you can hate Alf for. I can't get into them all. We tried to do that one episode, and I had to viciously edit it out because he did drive a man insane. Okay, look it up. There's a man that was driven to drugs and infidelity. Okay, and also this is really for real, and I just cannot stress this enough. Alf used the N-word, and it's on film. I don't want to laugh about it. It's crazy.
Right,
It's
it is
absurd.
wrong.
It's
It's not
absurd.
funny.
It's not funny. But he did. Look it up. You can find it, okay? But that's not what we're here to talk about, all right? I want to talk about how Alf decided that, or the writers of Alf or whoever thought it would be really funny to make it a joke that Alf tried to eat cats and did get to eat cats. And so I went to my best friend, ChatGPT, and I asked it, why did Alf eat cats? Okay, and this is what ChatGPT said, and I'm pretty disappointed in it. Twice tonight. Hello there. I'm here to help answer your questions. Alf, the character from the 1980s TV show, was portrayed as an extraterrestrial being who had a unique taste for cats. However, It's important to remember that Alf was a fictional character created for entertainment purposes. The main reason Alf had a preference for cats as his primary source of sustenance was to add humor and create comedic situations within the show. It's always interesting to explore the imaginative aspects of fictional characters, but in reality, most people do not eat cats. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Fuck you, ChatGPT. You fucking Alf apologist.
Yeah, I mean, follow up, like, okay, so why did the writers think it was funny that Alf ate cats?
Also, most people don't eat cats?
Yeah.
There's something Epstein-esque about this scenario where ChatGPT is just unwilling to give us real answers.
It won't do it, okay? So then I went to ChatGPT's older, weirder cousin, Google. And I threw that question in there, and I got the Tanner family owned 2 cats over the course of the show. The first cat was named Lucky. The idea behind eating Lucky was a running gag for Alf, but he later realizes that when the Tanners demand Alf not to do anything to their cat, he values and their trust in him more than the meal. So he never actually eats Lucky. And I looked into it some more. I've only seen sporadic episodes of Ralph. Ralph. I keep saying that. Alf. So I didn't know like the long running gag here with Lucky, and I just know, but he never. And there are some people say that they became friends or whatever. It's bullshit. But I have evidence of all the disgusting things that Alf said about cats throughout the years on this show, and I want to play a segment on YouTube that I found, and this is Alf's long running joke about torturing, eating, and fucking with cats. Okay, here we go.
Let's have a snack now. We'll get friendly later.
Snack? What kind of a snack?
You got a cat? Your eyelids are growing heavy. You are getting sleepy. You are no longer a cat. You are a bagel.
I'm just trying to tell you there's more than one way to skin a cat.
You've been reading my recipe book. Yo, Kate, where do you keep your casserole dishes?
Why?
The cat won't fit in the toaster.
And that's just a little taste of what that son of a bitch was joking about on that show. Okay?
Disgusting.
Offensive, horrifically offensive.
I think we can say that the official position of the PuzzyBoyz podcast is fuck Alf.
Yeah.
Fuck Alf.
Fuck Alf.
Fuck Alf.
And you know what? I guess there isn't intelligent life out there.
I'll say.
I think that sound is literally the
From
Alf.
Alf.
It sounds exactly like all of the
Thank you for the soundtrack, but other than that.
Anyway, so Alf is our number 1 Purrblic enemy of the week, and could be, each and every week. I kind of feel like this podcast is going to be waving the fuck Alf flag.
If we don't make fuck Alf flags and shirts by the time you've listened to this, we probably have.
And if you don't buy them, you don't love your cat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do we want to talk about a cat of the week, or do we just want to end this podcast? You know what? Fuck Alf. Thank you for listening. Make sure you check in the show notes for everything you need for this podcast.
As always.
From the 4 Arbuckles here at PuzzyBoyz. Good luck and good night.
Fuck you, Alf.
Meow.
Lasagna.
Meow.
Stay fat. Stay fat, cats.
Stay fat, cats.
Stay fat.
That's
cats.
pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, crunchy munchy.
Yeah.